on Saturday morning for the first Rome Sports Hall of Fame virtual Women's Breakfast of Champions today. I'm extremely excited and honored to host this event, and I'm excited for a great program this morning. If you're listening on YouTube, just make sure to pound that subscribe button and tune into all the Rockpile shows. If you have any questions and answers, we're going to get all those answers for you. Gloria's going to do a fantastic job. I was talking to her a little bit behind the scenes here, and it's going to be a learning lesson for everybody out there watching this morning. And if you're watching on Facebook, you can do the same thing. You can put your questions in the Facebook comment box, and after the Q&A, I will bring as many questions and comments over as I can. I want to make sure I thank the Rome Sports Hall of Fame for being the key sponsor for this morning's show, but they have a great list of donors here. The list is just fantastic to see all the support. I want to try to get through this list. Thanks to Anthony Mariano Jr., Barbara Castle, Carl and Sue Eilenberg, Chris DeStito, Debbie Myslinski, Dr. Patricia DiMatteo, George Hamake, Gerald McDonald, Jeanette DeDominic, Kim Acuto, Marge Van Slyke, Mr. and Miss Bruce Simpson, Mr. and Mrs. Charles Sprock, Mr. and Miss Gerald Fiorini, Mr. and Miss Kirk Hinman, Mr. and Miss Ray Boughton, RFA Girls Lacrosse, the Rome Sign and Display Company, Rubicon Recycling, Tom Zamikowski Baseball School Fund, Ellie Bruce, Crystal Berry, Rome Teachers Association, and thanks to the Rome Federal Credit Union as well for being some of the donors for today's broadcast. So I'm going to introduce Coach Linda Harjung. Coach was on with me on the Rockpile on the Legends Show, and I want to make sure I give a shout to her because her show was over 2,000 views and still going, so thanks to her. She's the co-chair of the National Girls, Women in Sports Committee, and she's also a Rome Sports Hall of Fame board member and vice president. So without further ado, let's bring Coach Harjung on here. Let me just unmute her. There's Coach. How are you, Coach?
I'm good, Rocky. Good morning.
How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for doing this for us. We are very, very happy to be here today to celebrate National Girls and Women in Sports Day. I want to welcome my co-chair, Mary Jo Ciccati, to the show today as well. The National Girls and Women in Sports organization recognizes the extraordinary progress sparked by Title IX and the ongoing effort to ensure access to sports for girls and women. Research has shown us that girls who play sports have better health, higher self-esteem, stronger leadership skills, greater academic achievement, and economic opportunities. Today marks the Rome Sports Hall of Fame's 4th annual Ruth Demers National Girls and Women in Sports Day virtual Breakfast of Champions, our first time trying a virtual one. So we're very happy that everybody's here. Although we don't get to share breakfast with each other in person for this event today, we want to continue to celebrate and promote athletic opportunities for all girls, but especially those young ladies in grades 4 through 12 who are enrolled in the Rome City School District and all who have joined us today. So welcome everybody to this fun and exciting day. I want to introduce our guest speaker for this morning. Gloria Coleman Purcell is a Rome Free Academy graduate that has had an outstanding career in both athletics as well as professionally. In high school, she competed in basketball, cross country, field hockey, track and field, and volleyball. She set school records in basketball for career rebounds and blocked shots, and she still holds the record for most blocked shots in a single season and in her career some 42 years later, which I'm not sure she knew. Although she's been successful in many sports, her biggest accomplishments came in track and field. She qualified for the state meet in all 4 varsity seasons and was a 4-time Central Oneida League All-Star. She was a state champion in the 200-meter dash and a state runner-up in the shot put, and also set Section 3 records in both of those events. In previous seasons, she set the sectional record in the 100-yard dash and was 5th in the state in both that event and the 200. She was also a member of a state champion half-mile relay team. During her high school career, she was awarded the prestigious Black R Award in not one sport, but 3. It's extremely rare to have one athlete receive so many Black R's, an award given at Rome Free Academy exclusively. She attended Murray State University in Kentucky, where she competed in track and field and volleyball on the NCAA Division I level, including a 1980 appearance in the NCAA track and field competition in the 200 and 400, or the 200-meter dash and the 400-meter relay. She was awarded the Murray State Freshman Female Athlete of the Year in 1980. She received a Bachelor of Science in Physical Education and then went on to receive Rank 2 secondary education. She has coached many sports. She's taught reading, physical education, and adapted physical education, and was inducted into the Rome Sports Hall of Fame in 1994. Gloria recently retired from teaching, but continues to work as a Parks and Recreation supervisor. I am happy to introduce you to Gloria Coleman Purcell.
Good morning. I want to thank the committee for allowing me to speak to the young ladies or men who are listening today. As I sit back and listen to my accolades, I guess I'm too old to remember all the things that I've done. It's been a blessing. Linda, you reminded me that I needed to speak to the girls who are age grade 4 through 12. I'm going to give you a little bit of information about my background. I was telling you that I was born in Florida, raised in Rome, New York. I have 6 brothers. They were all older than I am. So I don't think I had a choice but to play sports because they all did. And there's times where I wanted to get in trouble. They wouldn't allow me. So, one of those things, you go around the corner, you think you're going to do something, one shows up. And it's like, no, that's not going to happen. Go home. But which was a blessing. So my thing was to play sports. My thing was, I tried everything. You don't know. You just try everything. Everything that came around the corner was sports. Every season I was playing a sport. Because it was like, if you're playing a sport, you don't have time to get in trouble because you dedicate yourself to that sport. There was times it's like, I'm not sure if I want to do this. Oh, yes, you're doing it. My brothers came to it and said, yeah, you're doing this. I started off, in elementary school. Coach Bush, I remember at DeWitt Clinton Elementary School, we did the 60-yard dash. And she said, there's something here. I was like, I like to run. I'm a runner. I like running. And doing the physical fitness contest and all that kind of stuff. And to this day, I still have all my ribbons. I have them all. They're in a bag. And I do plan on bringing some of that stuff to the Hall of Fame in May. So my kids tell me, no, you need to keep some of it, but I plan on bringing a majority of that in May. So in middle school, did every sport there was, everything I could think of. Ran track, basketball. I even did gymnastics in middle school. Go figure that. I was even a cheerleader in middle school. But that didn't last because they wanted me always on the bottom of the pyramid and I wanted to be on the top. And, being so tall, that wasn't going to happen. But so middle school and high school. And my first love is track. I love track. God gave me a gift with my long legs is to move them. So, and sprinter, to me, sprinting was the best thing. The quicker the race, the better, so I can sit down and watch everybody. Anything over a 400, I'm sitting down. But again, track was my love. I love running. And I can't say enough for my coaches. My coaches, and I get teary-eyed now, my coaches were a godsend. I thank them. Coach Smith, Coach Gardner, Coach Demers, Coach Cullens. Every coach that I had in high school was a godsend. And ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you're familiar with Rome. I grew up, as they say, on the other side of the tracks. And I literally grew up on the other side of the tracks. I was poor. I had food on our table, clothes on my back. And that's all you needed, and a roof over my head. And to me, that was rich because I had the necessities of life, and that was enough. And my coaches, again, I cannot say enough, cannot. Thank you. When it came around to going to school, applied to different places. And Coach Smith and Coach Gardner, thank you. They reached out to Coach at Murray State University, and they got me there. And I was not the sharpest tool in the shed. I mean, I wasn't dumb, but I had some issues of reading and that kind of thing. And going through school, I learned a great deal. And I tell ladies to this day, there is no reason whatsoever that you don't go to school. Stop letting these boys, excuse me, parents, stop letting these boys get in your ear telling you you don't need to do this or you don't need to do that. Want it for yourself. If nobody else want it for yourself, want better for yourself. And I'm sure your parents tell you this, but you don't want to listen to your parents. And for some reason, kids like to listen to other people before they listen to their parents. Stop. Your parents are telling you the truth. Want better for yourself. You can get it. And if I can help you get there, just reach out. Don't do it on Facebook, because I don't get on Facebook. If you want to instant message me, I will answer that. Anything that I can do. All you have to do is reach out. Ladies, and there's one thing all you need to do is keep those grades on lockdown. Get your grades. There's no reason. There is no reason for you not to get good grades. And to enter college, all you have to have is a 2.5. 2.5, you can get a 2.5 if you just show up for class. Get your grades. There's no reason. And we have this problem here. I live in Orangeburg, Kentucky. We have this problem here where the ladies they're too pretty to run. I don't like jumping. I don't like to get sweaty. You got to want something better for yourself. And to me, it's not a sacrifice. If you want something better for yourself, that's not a sacrifice. Don't look back on life and say, I would, shoulda, coulda, woulda, and if I had done this or that. Don't look back on life and say that, because it's not about that. Again, ladies, as I was going through school, if it wasn't for my brothers and coaches, because I can remember the times when playing basketball and I'm left-handed. So when I would shoot a basket, I would get in the corner on the free throw line. For some reason, to me, it felt better. Now, my brothers, the one game they chose to come to, yelled at me during the middle of the game. Get in the center of the line. What's wrong with you? During the middle of the game. So, of course, like me, I tucked my head down and I moved to the center of the line where I should have been in the first place. And, of course, I made both shots. From that point on, I had to stay in the center of the line. But you guys have the support. I have my brothers. Very rarely did my dad or my stepmother attend our games, or my games. But I had my brothers. And you have the support. I mean, you do. You got your teammates. Rely on your teammates. If your parents don't go, and I'm sure your parents are working hard to support you. Rely on your teammates. Rely on your coaches. That's what they're there for. They will help you if you just ask. I ask, and they helped me tremendously. In high school, she said I played every sport you can think of. I even did the field hockey thing with a skirt. It didn't work, but I played because it was fun. And it was time. You see the knot on my nose right here? That's from a girl chopping the ball and hit me up, and I went out and I came to ready to fight. But coach was like, "No, lay down." But I played every sport. Cross country didn't work because they take you out 5 or 6 miles, drop you off, and say get back. And so it's like, this is not for me. This is not for me. So that's when I crossed over to field hockey, and I thought, oh, this is not for me either. What are you thinking? But volleyball, love basketball, love track. When I got to Murray State, they didn't have a volleyball team, and that tells you how old I am. I won't tell you, but you probably can figure it out that I graduated in '79 from high school. So they didn't have a volleyball team. I helped start the volleyball team at Murray State University. Reasons why I didn't get home very often was financially. Again, didn't have much money growing up, but that was okay because my roommate, Suzanne Swift, and her parents, Frank and Shirley Swift, I now call mom and dad because they also were blessings in my life. Took me in times I couldn't get home. I stayed here in Orangeburg with her and her family. They were a blessing. I had so many blessings in my life that I believe in paying it forward. And I give you a story that I taught PE physical education, and I'm in the gym. We're getting ready to start class, and a young man says, "Miss Michelle, I can't run today." It's like, "Why, honey? Why not? Everybody can run." He said, "I don't have any shoes today." And I looked down. And I said, "Oh, okay. What size you wear?" He says, "A 10." And I thought, "Uh-oh, I wear a 10." And I looked down, and then my first day of wearing those shoes, I'm like, "Oh, I always have an extra pair in my car. I'm a shoeaholic. I love tennis shoes." So I said, "Here, put these on. Ain't no big deal. Here, you can wear these." And of course, he wore them, and I was expecting to get them back at the end of the day, and he didn't bring them back. And the next day, he had them on his feet, and I thought, "Oh gosh, this baby didn't have any shoes." That's okay. He didn't have any shoes. You can have those. It's no big deal. My husband to this day don't know that I have shoes in my closet that I haven't worn yet, because he would buy me 2 pair every Christmas because of PE, and I rotate my shoes. That's how much of a holic I am with my shoes, which is pretty bad. I may need to go to therapy for that. But no. And I believe there's other things that I have done and I call all the kids in school my babies because they were my babies. And I would tell them things in life that I would tell my own 2 kids. I have a son who's 27, who's a personal trainer. I have a daughter who's 24, will be 25 soon, and in about a month will be going to law school. I would tell my babies at school the same thing I would tell my kids. And I have been accused of having tough love. I grew up on tough love, and I don't think there's nothing wrong with tough love. Because the world is cruel. It's a cruel world out there. They don't care. The world don't care what you've been going through. They don't. They just want to see what you're doing now. So have something better you want for yourself. Put God in your life. God will get you through the hardest times in your life you ever thought he could. He will. Put God first. I don't even know how to explain to you that without family, family's number one. No, excuse me, God's number one. Family is second. And then your friends. And your closest friends you will meet at college. I stay in contact with some of my friends in high school. Hi, Mary Jo Kosha. I hope you're listening. My closest friends that I met in college. And my wedding. Girls that were in my wedding was girls I met in college. It's just, I cannot explain to you, ladies. Quit letting these boys get in your ear. Want something better for yourself. Go for and I'm sure you guys are good in whatever sport you play. I'm sure you're good in it. Put your mind on that. Set your goals on that. Whatever it is you want to do in life, go for it. There's scholarships unbelievable scholarships out there. Unbelievable. Not only for athletes, but for academics. There's more money out there for academics than there is for athletes. And any school you go to, there's 2 colleges here, university here in the city I live in. If you want to go here and talk to me, and I can't cook you meals because that's against the rules, but I can make sure that you get fed. I can make sure that you're not alone. You can apply for schools here. There's anywhere in the country. If you want to go to school, go. Better yourself, please. Again, like I said earlier, don't look back on life and say, "I wish I should have, could have. I would have been the best athlete in Rome if I would have done this, and I would have been the best athlete here if I would have." Don't look back on life and do that, because you're going to regret yourself. you're going to regret doing that. Again, ladies, please better yourself. I don't know at this time. Rocky, if there's any questions that are out there for people that want to ask me, that I can give them an answer to. So we're working on our microphone here because I can't hear Rocky at this time. But again, ladies.
There we are.
Okay, hey Rocky. If there's any questions out there that I can answer, or if I can elaborate on anything else, hopefully people were listening.
Gloria, I'll say that I was taking notes here and writing some stuff down from your talk, and so many key things you hit on, and anything is possible with hard work, and God, family, and friends. But a really great touching speech and a lot of key points. So I appreciate that. We do have some questions, so let's get to some of the questions for you. The first one is, what was it like playing sports at RFA?
Oh gosh, it was so much fun. It was fun, and that was the best thing. I had people that surrounded me, the Maria Muse, the Sharon Sanders, the Cariglianos. I don't know if you know Michelle Carigliano.
I do. Yeah.
Michelle loved her. She was so funny. There was tons and tons of people. I can't even. The list is unbelievable. That it was fun, and I enjoyed playing. And if you're gonna play a sport, you gotta enjoy playing it. If you're not enjoying it, then why are you out there? Enjoy it, love it, give it your all. If you're gonna do something worth doing, give it your all. So, but why be out there if you're not enjoying it? But I had so much fun playing sports. And if I could go back in time, I would do it the same way, the exact same way. I have no regrets playing sports in high school, none. It was fun.
And Gloria, next question is, what was your biggest hurdle that led to your success?
My biggest hurdle, oh gosh. I think leaving home was my biggest hurdle, because as everybody knows, your home is your nest. So it's hard to leave home. But my oldest brother, John, told me, you leave home, do not look back. You can always come back, but don't look back. And that was my biggest hurdle, because, I had 6 older brothers. I'm the only girl and the baby. So that was hard leaving family. But, once I left, that was my biggest hurdle. And I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to do the school work. Again, I said I wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed. I wasn't, the genius, but I wasn't sure that I was going to be able to do the work. But my coach at Murray State, Coach Simmons, Margaret Simmons, she helped tremendously. And I can't say how blessed I am with every coach that has been placed in my life has been a blessing. Every coach. And I can't express how thankful I am to them.
And Gloria, who or what, out there influenced your career in sports?
Oh gosh. At one of our sports banquets, I can't think of her name. Oh gosh. It's crazy. She's an Olympic runner. Oh God, this is terrible.
Not Jackie, not talking to Jackie Joyner, are you?
No, she's older. Wilma Rudolph. Thank you. I'm sorry. Wilma Rudolph actually came to one of our sports banquets and spoke at our sports banquet. And I got her signature. As a matter of fact, I got her phone number. Called her a couple times, and she encouraged me. And that itself, and I still have that picture. And it's so crazy that my son lives in Clarksville, and they have a Wilma Rudolph Boulevard. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I actually met her. But she was my inspiration. I think we were juniors. I was a junior in high school that she spoke at our banquet. And what she went through was amazing. And I didn't have any ailments that had hindered me from running. And she went through troubled times in life, and she made it. So who am I to complain? So she was my inspiration, along with my coaches and my brothers, my family.
So, Gloria, I want to bring a comment over from online here because you're speaking of your brothers. So, Doug Arthur says, I loved Gloria's story about her brothers shouting at her while she was shooting free throws during a basketball game. He says, I can just see them doing that. What a great athletic family.
They did. Can you believe they would do that? Can you believe it? I mean, again, I'm left-handed, so I would get in the corner. I don't know why, but percentage was higher for me if I stood in the corner. It was, and the coaches would, of course, would say, Mr. Mertz would say, Gloria. I said, Coach, I shoot better from here. And then, of course, you hear it from someone else. And when your brothers say it, you either do it or get in trouble when you got home. So I moved over to the center, and I was thinking, oh gosh, I'm gonna miss this big time. But both shots went in, both. And from that point on, yeah, my brothers were, I don't know, people knew Ernest and Tony and C. Those were younger brothers that were near me, closer to me. And of course, unfortunately, they all passed away. But yes, they were my main support. They were there at my games, my track meets, I had a strong family bond with my brothers.
And Gloria, what sport challenged you the most?
Oh, track and field. Track and field was my love. God gave me these long legs and they could move. They could move. And track and field, I love it. Love running. Absolutely. I can't tell you how much I love running. Now, today, I'm just on the elliptical. Just give me an elliptical and I'm good to go. But track and field is my love. That's my love.
And Gloria, if you can talk to us about the recruiting process coming out of high school, because the recruiting process now obviously is much different than what it was, years ago. But talk to us about your experience during that whole process.
Okay. Coach Smith, Coach Gardner reached out to Coach Simmons at Murray State, saying that we had an athlete. And at the time, I won first place in 200 that year. And I went out to visit Murray State. Now, let me tell you, if you never thought about Kentucky, Kentucky is a tobacco state. Now, when I flew in, you don't see all that, and when I got there, they recruit you, you check out the scenery, you make sure that's where you want to fit, because 4 years of your life, that's where you will be. You make sure that's a good fit, and you go and visit other schools. Don't just visit one, because I went to other schools around and surrounding Rome. Go and make sure that's a good fit for you. Make sure that's because that become your family. It will become your family. The recruiting was, again, you go check and see what it is, how you like it. And if you like it, you tell the coach, and you have to sign a commitment letter, an offer letter. And you sign it that you're going to be, and I received a full ride. Again, that's a blessing. I've received a full ride, so 4 years of education free. And again, to tell you ladies, if you can get an education for free, and your parents can tell you how much it costs nowadays to pay for that education. So if you can receive an education for free, why not? Why not? Do it. But the recruiting part of it, it's not extensive ones. You go check out the place. If you like it, your coaches and your atmosphere, and sometimes you'll meet some of your teammates, and sometimes you'll practice with them. I had a day of practice with them. Loved it. The facilities were wonderful. Sign your offer letter in 4 years. And nowadays they do a year by year. Some schools don't give you that 4 years, because if you don't perform like you're supposed to that 1 year, they can decline that letter. But if someone is paying for you, just like your job, you go to work, someone's paying you for that, you perform your best. So you go out and perform. They're paying you to go to school. Why go out there and not perform your best? But that's pretty much the recruiting when I went through. But again, nowadays, with my daughter and son, it was pretty much when our son played baseball at Austin Peay State University in Clarksville. And daughter played 2 years of volleyball at Asbury in Kentucky, near Lexington. But when they did it, there was an offer letter you sign, and that kind of thing. It's pretty much the same.
So Gloria, I know education, when you're in high school and you play a sport, let alone multiple sports, and even once you go to college, what were some of the challenges maintaining, your grades, education, sports, and even in college at any level, right? Division 1, 2, or 3, it's tough. But talk to us about how you handle that and some of the challenges that you overcame.
Yes, it is tough. You have to perform in sports and in classroom. It's tough. Excuse me. Your professors will work with you because if you are on a sport team, they know that you're not going to, if you're whatever sport you're playing depends on, you're going to be gone some of that time. For me, for track, it was mostly weekends, and your weekends are usually from Thursday to Sunday. It was long weekends, especially if we had to fly somewhere or drive a long way. You had to do your classwork early. There was times where if we were in a hotel room, of course, you did your work online. You do your work there. You get it submitted. There's no reason. If not, you made it up and turned it in that Monday. You returned to class. It is a juggle. You have to juggle your work and your athleticism. It's rough, but you can do it. I mean, these kids nowadays, if they can type and do this at the same time and do everything else, you can do multitask with anything else. But it wasn't, I mean, again, like I said, I give you an example. When I first went to Murray State, my reading wasn't the best. It improved tremendously. But when you start off in school, you start off in 101 classes, English 101, English 102, or whatever it is. My reading level was a 100. So I started low on reading. And again, I was 2 years of reading specialist here in school. So that shows you how much it improves. So, but if you guys if they would get their reading, their work done and get their grades unlocked now, you won't have that problem. You won't. And it's a juggle, but you can, again, if I can do it, and I tell people this all the time, if I can do it, anybody can do it. Anybody can. There's no reason not to. There's none.
And Gloria, for our listeners that are watching this live and then the listeners that will watch it on the replay, what would be some advice you would give them for not only just competing in high school with sports, but competing at the highest level?
Dedication. Dedicate yourself. If anything worthwhile is worth doing, do it well. If you're going to dream big. The old saying, you're going to reach for the stars. Skip the stars, go for the moon. And if you should fail, you'll fall amongst the stars. Reach big. I can't even express how, Rocky, that these young ladies nowadays, they don't have the confidence in themselves. You got to love yourself before anybody else can love you. God already loves you. Your parents already love you. But sometimes the kids don't see that their parents truly love them, and they do. And they do what's best for them. But you got to love yourself before anybody else can love you. Want more for yourself. Always want more for yourself. And as I tell my kids, when they were in school, you pray hard and study long. If that doesn't work, study long and pray hard. The two will get you through it. But it's just one of those. I can't express to these young ladies, please want more. Stop letting these boys get in your ear. Stop. It's not worth it. Want more for yourself. And it's just, and I tell again, we're blessed. We have 2 wonderful children, blessed beyond measures. That I tell them, and parents, if you can, get your child more in your child's life. Know what they're doing. Put that phone down. 10 o'clock phone goes down in our house when they were younger. Phones were put away. If you need to talk to them, you see them tomorrow in school. Well, phones were put away in our house at 10 o'clock. And we should have made it 9, but but that's okay. They made it. They're successful.
So Gloria, you played in a lot of games, track meets, in high school and in college. Can you give us some of your most memorable moments in high school when you were at RFA. Do you have one moment that stands out to, or there's several moments?
Oh God, there's several. There's several. The shot put, I didn't realize the shot. I forgot about me being second place in the shot put. I weighed 100 pounds, maybe soaking wet when I was in high school. And I remember, and she said that, I remember, God, I think it was 46 feet, which is pretty unbelievable. For my second time, my first time ever doing that, because I pulled a hamstring, so I couldn't run. So Coach Smith and Coach Gardner said, "Hey, she's going to shot put." I'm like, "Are you crazy? Shot put? The shot put weighed more than I did." But they taught me technique. They were that good. Coaches were that good. There were several moments. Basketball. I mean, my thing was trying to dunk a basketball. And back then the basketballs were bigger, and I have a pretty big hand. And when the first time I was able to dunk, I could dunk a volleyball because I couldn't palm the basketball. I mean, after practice, I would go in and jump. I can do this. But things like that. And the best season I can remember is when we beat Notre Dame. I don't know if they still play Notre Dame in sports now. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
But when we played them, we beat them, and I blocked one of the girls' shot. That was the best thing ever, because Notre Dame was the school to beat. They were pretty good. I mean, Proctor and UFA were good schools, but Notre Dame was the school. I have so many memories of all my sports, field hockey, as much as and cross country. I have memories. They're not good ones, but I remember them because it was like, coach drop you off 10 miles and you got to get back. Are you crazy, coach? But, I have so many memories of high school sports. And every sport that I played, I love. I love playing sports. I was born an athlete. I wish my heart's still telling me I still have it, and my head's telling me, sit down. And my kids are telling me to sit down. Mama, sit down. You're too old for that. But I still have, my heart tells me I'm still an athlete. But I have fond memories of sports in high school.
And Gloria, and sports really impacts, everybody in their everyday life in the business world. How has sports, coaching, playing sports really impacted, your everyday life? And if you can talk to our audience about just how important it is to be, to play sports, and even when you're done playing or coaching sports, it's still going to shape your life.
It's going to shape your life. Unbelievable. Again, the people that you meet, it will shape your life. Coaching was fun. And the high school here, when I first got here, didn't have a volleyball team. So I started the first volleyball team here at one of the high schools. The other high school had it and the other one didn't. So the one high school, I started a volleyball program. Girls were raw. But as coaches, you try to pull out the best in girls, sports-wise and otherwise. You try to teach them not only sports, but what the world's like, because the world is cruel. I'm trying to think. I coached basketball, track, and volleyball in cross country at the middle school level and at the high school level. It was so much fun. It was shaping the young ladies to be what they are now. And I can't express that the sports and the world, it goes together. What you learn in sports will carry over into life. It does. Because you discipline yourself in sports, you have to discipline yourself in the world. You have to. So they go together.
And Gloria, you got a coach at Notre Dame to put a comment on, said, "Come on, she needed to bring up the block at Notre Dame." And he put LOL. So
I'm sorry, but that was a highlight, because those girls at Notre Dame were tall. They were tall, and I was 5'11", 6 foot, and they were 6'3", 6. I mean, they were big. So for one of us to, I consider that that's pretty good that I mentioned in school. I could.
And Gloria, how about as a coach, coaches, when you're going through a recruiting process, it's not always about skill. You're not always going after the best athlete. You're looking at some of those other attributes, team player, hard worker, the dedication. What are some of those attributes that you would look for in a student athlete?
You're right. It's not always about the skill. I look for the person who's going to give me their all. You can be on the lowest level. You give me your all. You give me your heart. You can play for me. Give me your all. Show me that you want it. Again, the person who has a skill, and it's so crazy that these kids nowadays think that they should have their cake and eat it too, and you should feed it to them. The kids nowadays are different, and I don't understand because they've been given a God-given talent, and they think that you should cater to them. No, I know that type of athlete. I don't want that athlete. I want that athlete that's breaking their butt for me, that's out there every day to show me that they want it, because you can teach that skill. You can teach that skill. And again, these kids, I'm sorry, there's kids out there today, like they own it. We owe them something for some reason. They think the world owes them. And it shouldn't be like that. You got to earn everything you get. But it's just, I don't know. Maybe that it'll change. We don't know if it'll change or not. We hope it does.
And I brought Coach Harjung back on. Coach, if you don't mind, if I can sneak one question into her of my own, I got to get one in here. But Gloria, I just want to ask if you can comment on, because there's athletes that have had a lot of success, and then we always have those challenges. Adversity comes about, and those are some of the challenges that we deal with as athletes. What would be some ways that you can tell our audience today, and again on the replay, how did you deal with that, and what would be some key tips for athletes today?
Oh gosh, key tips is want more for yourself in life, and it doesn't hurt to say yes ma'am and no ma'am, yes sir and no sir. It doesn't hurt. Want more for yourself. And you can't express, your grades. Your grades are more important than your athleticism. More important. Your grades are. Because if you don't have your grades, you can't even get into school. You got to have at least a 2.5. So, be humble. Humble yourselves. There's nothing wrong with that. Be humble. Be thankful. And I said, there's so many schools out there, from NAIA to Division I. If you think about how many schools are out there, and it's not just D1, it's D1, D2, and D3. There's different levels out there that you can go to school. You can perform at any school, and most kids want, and it's some reason they think, and it's mostly guys who think, I'm going D1, I'm going pro. You know how many average young men that go pro? It's very, very small. And young ladies, yes, we have the NBA out there for women out there now, but the number going out there is small. If you can go to school and pay for your school for free, if it's D3 or NAIA, it doesn't matter. You're getting your school paid for. You're better in your life. You're better in yourself. Want more for yourself. And I don't understand. Again, maybe what I'm saying, it reached 5 people, maybe one person. If I reach just one person, that's enough for me.
Well, Coach, I brought you back in. I'm not sure if we lost Mary Jo. I don't see her on. I don't know if she had computer technical issues. So I wanted to bring you on and kind of wrap things up. Gloria, that was awesome. A lot of good words of wisdom. I enjoyed the Q&A with you, listening to your speech and all that. And I had to do some digging on you, but you had a great career and a lot of good stuff this morning. So, Coach, I'll turn it over to you.
Gloria, I can't thank you enough for doing this. That was absolutely wonderful. Key messages to these girls. And I'm just thinking, like the last question that Rocky asked you about, what kids can take away from this, and what happens, when you go to school. You do need to be comfortable with the school and the surroundings, because you could be the best athlete in the world, but chances are you're not going to go pro. That's minimal. If those opportunities happen, that's wonderful, but it's not the majority. And so you've got to work on your grades, keep your grades up, because where you go in school and what you do, that's what you're going to do for the rest of your life.
Yes.
The athletics you can still enjoy, but you have to be comfortable.
And I tell you that I went to school and I started in child development, went into nursing, criminal justice, and then I went to education. Yes, because I wasn't sure. And we expect these 18-year-olds to go to school and pick what they want to do for the rest of their lives. That's hard. Yep. It's really hard for someone to do that. So I went through 4 before I got to education, because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. So, and then that gives you that first year to figure out what you want to do, because you take the basic classes. But yeah, it's a challenge. It's a challenge. But any child, you're up to the challenge. Put yourself up to the challenge. Don't sell yourself short. You can do it. But
wonderful.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you guys giving me this opportunity to speak to young ladies. It's been a blessing. And I'm sure you hear me say blessing a lot, but I've been truly blessed. But I appreciate you giving me this opportunity to speak.
Well, it was wonderful, very inspirational. And I hope the girls, they had to have gotten something out of it. There were so many important messages in that. I just want to thank everybody for joining us today and celebrating National Girls and Women in Sport Day. And, like I said before, this was kind of our first run at trying to get the virtual one, but it seemed to work out pretty well. Had some great comments and, had a lot of people that had some nice memories of things you were talking about today too. So I think you had a lot of coaches watching you and some of your former teachers. And so hopefully, these kids will take.
Yes, yeah. I'm sorry. If they are, thank you. Thank you very much. I hadn't had the opportunity to say thank you to my teachers, my coaches but thank you very much for pushing me. I needed it. I deserved it. And thank you.
And we were able to get Mary Jo back on. So Mary Jo, any last closing remarks for us?
I think she's having.
She might be having some technical difficulties.
I think she is. Is she back now?
We got her back on. Maybe she's having some issues. But
I think she is. But again, I hope I reach some. If that one makes a difference in life, that they can do anything in life they want to if they have the heart. If they have the heart, put God first, and they can do anything in life they want. Anything.
Let's see. Mary Jo, can you hear us?
We're going to try it again.
Let's try her one more time here, just to see if we can get some comments from her. Well, it looks like she's having some. All right. We couldn't get her there.
Okay. So thank you, everybody, for joining us today for the 4th annual Ruth Demers virtual Breakfast of Champions. And we hope that everybody took something away from this presentation today. I want to remind the girls that those that tuned in and those that weren't able to tune in at this time, hopefully you can click on the link and watch it sometime during the week. And if you can register and get that information out to us on our website at the www.romesportshalloffame.com. The link is right on there as well. And also, Rocky's link on the rock pile. And if you can pre-register, we have a little goodie bag with a t-shirt and a string backpack and some other things that we're going to hand out. Gloria's going to be in Rome during the middle of May. I think we set up May 22nd, a Saturday, I believe, from 1 to 2 right at the Rome Sports Hall of Fame. Out by the old Erie Canal Village, and she's going to be there where she can sign some autographs for you with her photo, and you get a chance to meet her if you'd like. So hopefully we'll get some people out there and it'll be a nice day and it won't be raining, because who knows in central New York.
Well, you
But
should
thank you
visit
so
me.
much.
Come down to visit. It's like 80 here now. So come on down to visit.
I want to thank all the sponsors too. We had a lot of people that were very, very supportive of today's event. And I know Rocky's going to go through that again. So thank you so much. And Rocky, again, can't thank you enough for doing this and hosting it.
No problem. Thanks for thinking of me. And Gloria, thank you for coming on. And hopefully when you come down in May, I'll get a chance to meet you in person.
Thank you. Definitely.
Be it honor. So, yep, I'll run through these, Coach, and I appreciate everything. And this will be up on YouTube and Facebook. I won't take it down. And if anybody, again, wants to put some questions on there, even in the replay, Gloria, if you're on Facebook or YouTube, you can comment and answer some of those questions as well. So appreciate it.
Okay. Yes, I will.
Well, enjoy the rest of the day, everybody, and I'll read through these, and I appreciate everybody's time.
Thank you.
So that was a great, Gloria was fantastic. And I want to make sure I thank Coach Harjung for thinking of me in the Rome Sports Hall of Fame, for giving me the opportunity to host this event. The long list of donors is fantastic. The support was awesome. I want to make sure I get through this list one more time. Anthony Mariano Jr., Barbara Castle, Carla and Sue Eilenberg, Debbie Myslinski, Chris Testito, Dr. Patricia DiMatteo, George Hamake, Gerald McDonald, Jeanette Dominic, Kimberly Acuto, Marge Van Slyke, Mr. and Miss Bruce Simpson, Mr. and Mrs. Charles Sprock, Mr. and Mrs. Gerald Fiorini, Mr. and Miss Kirk Hinman, Mr. and Mrs. Ray Boughton, RFA Girls Lacrosse, the Rome Sign and Display Company, Rubicon Recycling, Tom Zimakowski Baseball School Fund, Ellie Bruce, Crystal Berry, the Rome Teachers Association, and the Rome Federal Credit Union. So once again, I want to thank Coach Harjung, the Rome Sports Hall of Fame, for letting me host this event today. Thanks to Gloria for coming on. Learned so much from her, a lot of great messages and insights for our young athletes. And as I always say here on the Rock Pile, and I think this is another great case of it, is the Rock Pile is where dreams become reality. And this will be up on YouTube and Facebook. Make sure to tune in next Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. I'll wrap the Rock Pile, the Legends edition up. We'll talk. The longtime Rome Catholic head football coach, Coach Dennis Skibitsky, will join me next Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. So I appreciate everybody tuning in here this morning. Remember, the Rock Pile is where dreams become reality. Have a good day, everybody.